While my boyfriend was barely making a living, I loved him more than anything in the world. He was sensitive, sweet, and we had shared goals and dreams. One of our most cherished dreams was the simplest one, to visit Tokyo Disneyland. It is one of the largest and coolest theme parks in the world. Both of us grew up in poor families, so we decided to go there first. Hello, my name is May, and my boyfriend's name is Haruki. He only had a mother, and I only had a father. Our parents worked a lot and earned very little, but we were happy to have met each other. We'd been together for a year, and with each passing day, our love grew stronger. We often dreamed about where we'd spend our first earned money and gradually saved up for our first weekend at Disneyland. We planned to go there on my birthday. "This will be the most amazing day of my life. I can't wait," my boyfriend said. A few days later, we were sitting at his home doing our schoolwork as usual when his mother called the home phone, sounding agitated. Since my father hadn't come back from work yet, Haruki and I went to the hospital where his mother had told us to go. We were so nervous. The news turned out to be sad, but good. "Your named Aunt Emma has passed away," his mother said. "But this woman left all her fortune to Haruki because she never got married, and he was like family to her. Earlier, Haruki and his mother had worked as servants for her, but then Haruki's mother's health prevented them from working there, although they still maintained friendly ties. I was happy for both of them. They deserved to climb out of poverty, and for Haruki and me, a new life began." As you can imagine, we did everything. We went to many expensive restaurants, dressed nicely, and he gave me the phone and laptop that I'd wanted so badly. His mother still treated me warmly, and she was glad that I was there. But after a while, my boyfriend started to have a new circle of friends, people he hung out with often. Haruki started skipping school and not answering my calls. Even when we saw each other, it was only briefly, and he was constantly distracted by his phone. He didn't even call me on my birthday. Then, online, acquaintances shared photos of how he'd had a great time at Disneyland with his new friends. Haruki showed up the next day, and of course, I was so offended. He justified himself by saying that it was spontaneous. We argued, but I just said I didn't fit in with his new friends and had to say goodbye to him. He was living a new life, while I continued to live my old one. My dad tried to comfort me, but it didn't work. After a while, I got a job at a restaurant, and he came in with his new friends and new girlfriend. They made fun of me, saying that now I serve them, trying to humiliate me. And you know what? They succeeded. Haruki's new girlfriend poured soup all over me because it was over-salted, and Haruki didn't do anything. He just sat there, eyes downcast. I silently walked out onto the street, holding back tears. I wanted to run away with all my might, but even more, I wanted to get my old boyfriend back. Unexpectedly, he ran out after me, and I expressed everything I was thinking. Haruki was silent, and then I received a call that his mother had been in a car accident. This idiot had turned off his phone so he wouldn't be bothered, so they'd called me instead. His girlfriend, friends, and I also went to the hospital. He waited for several hours for the operation to be over. Gradually, his friends started to leave for various reasons, and in the end, only Haruki, his new girlfriend, and I were left. I sat as far away from the two of them as possible, but still heard her nasty complaints about how tired she was. Haruki was feeling awful. We looked at each other occasionally. His girlfriend continued to whine that she was hungry, and I couldn't take it anymore. I took out my uneaten salad from my bag and dumped it on her head, then threw a water bottle at her and said, "Have a snack." She stood up sharply, wanting to hit me, but then the doctor came out. Haruki and I ran to him and heard the coveted words, "The operation was successful. She will live." We hugged in happiness. Then the doctor asked for her medical history, what medications she was taking, and what kind of lifestyle she had. Haruki was silent, but I told him everything. The doctor left. Instead of supporting Haruki in that moment, his girlfriend just kept trying to hit me. But he drove her out of the hospital. I took care of his mother for the entire following month, for which he was so grateful. He stopped hanging out with his new friends and broke up with his girlfriend. But what about me? Can I forgive him? I still don't know. What do you guys think? Imagine a date that is worth moving mountains for girls, and a guy for whom your heart is ready to beat twice as fast. And it was you who had the chance to drive him crazy, but you missed your effing chance. Hi everyone, I'm Helga, and I'll tell you how long it took to get my dream date, only to ruin it later. My crush appeared at school, handsome Jay, tall, rich, smart, and divinely handsome. He arranged a kind of charity raffle. The point was to raise money to repair the shelter for homeless animals. The prize for the winner was a romantic evening with Jay and Monique. Well, they're like the two most popular people at school. To participate, all you had to do was pay a $300 deposit, write your name on the piece of paper, and wait to be drawn. It was a lot of money, but the shelter needed a major overhaul. I borrowed some money from a friend, and Jay pulled out my name. I couldn't believe it. I just had to go on that date. The whole school envied me. While I was trying to empty my little sister Emmy's piggy bank, she stood behind me. Her coughing caused me to drop the china pig on the floor, and I was terribly ashamed. She was a smart child beyond her years. She immediately advised how easy it is to make big money. There were several paid social experiments in our city, and I decided to participate in each one of them in order to earn not only my contribution, but also a Gucci dress. It would fit me perfectly. I had all of 2 days. First, I went to a new establishment where we were blindfolded and allowed to taste an incomprehensible, semi-cold, mushy liquid. I didn't understand what the point was, stuffing the 10th portion into myself. We were spoon-fed and remained silent. There were different tastes: potatoes with lemon, zucchini with onions, pumpkin with milk, and something else. I was almost nauseous and opened my mouth to spit out the sock-flavored puree, but I was beaten to it. Some guy shouted, "Damn, shit is more pleasant than your mashed potatoes," got up and left. Hooray! I was paid $200 and almost green. I came out of there and ran right away to the next experiment, where I had to starve. It won't bother me, I thought, but it did. For the next 10 hours, I lay on my side in a half-empty room with bare walls. A nurse walked around me, took urine for analysis, measured my blood pressure. In addition, a tube was inserted into my stomach through my throat, preventing me from breathing normally. After 2 hours, I asked to be allowed to watch at least TV, and they turned on the boring news because I wasn't even supposed to see food. The essence of the experiment wasn't really that clear to me. After a long couple of hours, they pulled out the tube. I already thought that everything was finally free, but I was allowed to go to the toilet and asked to come back. It was almost impossible to sleep, although I terribly wanted to. I was majorly tired. I just counted up to 1 trillion and then reversed it many times. I wanted to give up, but I was lucky that my neighbor in the other room protested and pulled a pipe out of her mouth. I was handed $900 and I walked out. Above all, at that moment, I wanted to go home and go to bed, but another experiment awaited me, in which I had to take $1,200 and buy myself a dress and repay the debt. I entered a dimly lit room, sat down in an armchair, and board games were placed in front of me. Sudoku, crossword, chess, backgammon, and cards. I had to play and solve at least 2 tasks several times and not fall asleep. The fewer mistakes, the closer the victory. That experiment lasted 20 hours. That is, at the end I had to buy a dress, get ready, and immediately go to the restaurant. The first 2 hours were even fun despite being tired, and then I solved the Sudoku and crossword puzzles not so fast. After 6 hours, the games were changed for us, and I took the tablet to pop bubbles of the same color. It seemed to me that something colored would distract and wake me up, but I was wrong. We were closely watched, and I just imagined my date with Jay. What would I have at dinner? What would I tell him? Would I confess my feelings? What would we talk about? What if he kissed me? Wow! We have a winner! I sharply heard someone's voice in front of me. Did I do it? I won? I hadn't slept in almost 2 days. Yes, yes! From the sharp adrenaline rush, I took my money and ran to the store for the dress. But there, a surprise awaited me. It was worn by another girl. I looked at myself in the mirror, disheveled with bright red eyes, barely able to stand on my feet. Like a robot, I resolutely followed her to the fitting room and took off my dress from her by force. Then I threw the money at the checkout and changed. "You can't even imagine what I went through for this!" I shouted at the end, got into a taxi, and arrived at the restaurant. Where is Jay? I asked myself, sitting down at the table, and then he came in, like from the cover of a fashion magazine. Jay sat down at the table, looked at me, and I almost said, "I love you," and he said, "Good morning, Helga. You didn't pass the experiment." I'm really sorry. What? Jay, what are you talking about? What kind of... Helga, open your eyes. Time is up. What time is up? We just arrived. Jay's voice got louder, and then it sounded like a woman's. Helga! He shouted in this auntie's voice, and I opened my eyes. What? What was happening? I was lying in a room hugging the tablet. It was daylight outside the window, and other participants were nearby. Yes, I dreamed it. Nobody won that experiment. My tears of disappointment are hard to describe. No! I screamed, realizing that not only was I left without a dress, I'd also slept through my dream date. However, when I arrived at school, another surprise awaited me. Rumors about charity reached the principal, and he began to find out for which shelter they were raising funds. It turned out there was no such shelter. Jay and Monique got caught in a petty scam. So basically, my date wouldn't have happened anyway. All good wishes to you guys, and remember, never make money at your own detriment.